You will never be an entrepreneur until you do this one thing first. You know, deep down inside of you, you know that you are meant for more, right? You have an opportunity and you see the vision, but for some reason, it's not working for you. You can't figure it out. You don't make the money that they promise you. You don't rank up the way you're supposed to be. What is wrong, right? You ask yourself that question all the time. And I tell you something, it's not that simple. I've been in your shoes for about 8 years, I would say, and worked through all of these steps. And it helped me overcome that self-doubt, create an internal motivation and confidence that makes me unstoppable now. My resilience and perseverance skills combined with vision, clarity, and strategy is the recipe for an undeniable success. If you're new to me, my name is Stephanie Zima, and I am the founder of My Way of Life Coaching and the creator of the Walk It Free system. In today's training, I will help you to move past this self-doubt that you're putting upon yourself, give you exact starting points that you will need to get into action and take the steps that you need to create the success you want in your business. All right, are you ready? Let's dive in. Let me ask you a question first, okay? Before we're going to get settled. This is a working call. Let's ask a question. What is your first emotion when you think about entrepreneurship? What comes up for you? What did your parents think about entrepreneurship? What did they think about money? Write that down maybe. Take a pen and paper. What are your habits like right now? Are you organized? Are you disciplined? Are you even a little selfish? What are your boundaries like? Are you good with time management? Are you good with money? Are you good looking at the things that you need to be looking at? Do you have childcare set up right now? Is anyone helping you with the kids? Do you have any kind of support? I know it's hard sometimes, right, to face the facts. What is your plan to sustain insecurity and criticism? Do you have a plan? Is criticism triggering shame in you? How much awareness do you have around emotional triggers? Have you ever thought about it? You see, when we start our entrepreneur journey, right? Many start in network marketing and we are told we can build a business. We are now entrepreneurs. We can do it in the nooks and crannies of our days. I mean, who hasn't heard that, right? We don't have to work more than 1 hour per day, right? I mean, we hear these things all the time. Then we hear we have location freedom. We can work from anywhere. You can work from the pool. You have time, all those stuff. We get to serve and create an impact. It sounds so amazing. All the things that we are being promised when we get into this opportunity, we buy into this vision. We can get an insane amount of money without really working a lot. That's what's insinuated with people. And I tell you, while this is all true, this is not really true for the majority of people. And that is, I believe, why so many people have also a negative taste about network marketing in their brain. So successful entrepreneurs, in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to have an insane amount of focus, organizational skills, strategy thinking, and discipline to follow through your plan of action. It's just a fact. You have to be so much in self-control that you don't get swayed left and swayed right, or being sidetracked by other people's opinions, offers, or even distractions. Many of us fall victim of the shiny object syndrome or the new course or new hype trap. You can fill in the blank, whatever it is that's getting you all knocked off the horse, right? And then when we don't follow through, we feel shame and we feel guilt. And now this is where it happens. Our old paradigm, right, our belief system gets triggered. Remember the questions that I've asked you in the beginning. They are coming into play right now. Okay, these questions that I've asked you in the beginning are coming into play right now. What is your first emotion with entrepreneurship? Right? Those are mindset questions. Those are mindset questions. So think about this. Really think about this. What is your first emotion when you think about entrepreneurship? Are you scared? Are you excited? Do you feel intimidated? What is it? What did your parents think about entrepreneurship? Were they entrepreneurs? What did they think about money? Were they for money or against money? What did they think? Were they disciplined? Were they organized? How are your habits? What are your boundaries like? Are you good with time management? We've talked about this. I've asked you those questions. Now they come into play. The answers to these are often buried underneath a bunch of excuses. See, and this needs to be brought out from the subconscious. It really helps you uncover what's holding you back if you do that. If your thoughts about entrepreneurship, for example, and money are smidgy or somewhat negative, hard or even impossible, then subconsciously you are going to create an outcome unless you actively change your thoughts and reframe those beliefs, right? You're going to sabotage yourself because you're trying to be aligned with who you are and what you believe about yourself. See, we trigger shame and guilt within us, and our subconscious says like, oh, let's just keep ourselves safe. Okay, so we're going to deploy self-sabotage. The shame starts the self-sabotaging process, right? It's a shame that starts it. And then we start procrastinating, or we avoid anything, any other tasks, right? We may get caught, you know, in an avoidance cycle. That, my friends, is my humble opinion. My humble opinion is actually that many network marketers are not continuing in the industry because of that, because they're getting caught in the shame and guilt cycle when they don't get the results, right? We are getting this carrot dangled in front of us, but then when we are reaching for it, it triggers emotional pain and emotional triggers, and most are not equipped to deal with them by themselves. So let's be clear. It is our responsibility to heal. Okay, it's not the network marketing industry's responsibility or their company or whatever. It is our responsibility. I just say that a lot of people may not even know that they have to heal these old triggers. Okay, so this video, we are going to dive in and talk a little bit about how we can do this. So phase one would be healing. The goal here is to uncover and release the emotional baggage that we have and release these subconscious blocks that are stopping us from stepping into leadership, stepping into abundance, stepping into action. That is where we need to, that's what we want to do, right? That's the goal. We need to heal these blocks so we can step into abundance, so we can step into leadership and into actions. So you cannot build a new life from a broken internal system. Let that sink in for a second. You cannot build a new life from a broken internal system. And that can get quite complex for so many people. And that is why you need more personal development than just reading a book. You have to actually rebuild yourself. See, when we grow up, we are little babies and we are a blank slate. I'm sure you have heard this before. You are a blank slate. That blank slate now is being written on by your caregiver's opinions and actions and habits and all the things that we are watching. And see, sometimes these things are subconscious because we were so little that we just saw them and we felt emotions, but there were no words aside. There were no words. That was pre-verbal stage. But your system, your cells on a cellular level have internalized these cues. So that is where it's at, okay? That's where the problem is often for many, that you were maybe, or you're acting right now based on cues that you had received before you were verbal, okay? Everyone is different. That's why when you have a network marketing training, some can take it and run with it and some just can't. But that doesn't mean that this is not for them. That doesn't mean entrepreneurship is not for them. It just means they need a little bit more individualized attention to kind of draw out, where are you at? What is your makeup like? What is your internal system like? What is misaligned to what you want to get to right now? See, that's what it is. Self-doubt, procrastination, and perfectionism are all, hang on my notes, are all, they are not personality traits. They're protective responses. See, sometimes we are identifying with, oh, I'm a perfectionist. No, this perfectionistic behavior is just that. It's a protective response to an unresolved inner wound. And that is, I think, what people are not recognizing. They're not recognizing that your unsolved inner wound is having an impact on your business, on your relationships, on your parenting, on your career. If you are like in sales or whatever job you have, possibly, I mean, it has impact on everything. And it's not who you are. You are not a procrastinator. See, we take on this identity that has been maybe told to us, or that we have internalized somehow, but it's not who we are. Okay? It's not who we are. It's just a protective response. Get that in your brain. Okay? You are not at fault here. You are not at fault. We need to address shame and guilt. It's a cycle. Okay? We need to address this. The real reason why we start and stop and hide and compare and quit, all of these things, is because we are caught in this shame and guilt cycle that comes from us having a wrong identity about ourselves, right? Our first identity as a child often still drives the behavior we have today. That is something we need to recognize. Who we thought of as a child, this is who we are acting out now, even in business. So, let me ask you another question. What were you taught about ambition, success, or visibility? What were you taught? Was it, many of us are struggling with narcissism, for example. We grew up in narcissism. So now, if you had narcissistic trait parents that don't even have to be diagnosed as narcissistic, but if there were any traits of narcissism, for example, in your family, what did they teach you about ambition, success, and visibility? Shh. Be quiet. Do not show up. Why are you trying to be more than I am, for example, right? If you had a narcissistic mother, for example, or a narcissistic father, they didn't want you to shine and outshine them. They were probably doing things to keep you low. So what is the result that you put in your brain? When I shine, I get pain, right? Maybe you got ignored. Maybe you got ridiculed. Maybe you got scolded of some sort. See, subconsciously, your cells have then identified yourself with, shh, I better be quiet. So why not, don't rock the boat, right? What are those thoughts that are happening subconsciously? Tune into yourself, because that is the real reason why you start and stop. That is the real reason why you hide. This is the real reason why you compare. And this pain can be sometimes so harsh inside of you that you are literally terrified of taking the next action. Okay? Was confidence celebrated, or was it punished in your home? Have you ever thought about these things? Entrepreneurship triggers your inner child. That's what it is, right? We are wanting to be an entrepreneur, and it's going to trigger your inner child. You must heal that child so the woman that you are right now can actually lead. If the inside little girl is terrified of showing up, do you think you're going to go and be a public speaker? Probably not. If the little child's been scolded for showing up and speaking out, do you think you're going to do a Facebook Live? Probably not. Okay? Unless you start healing that and start recognizing that maybe you were an amazing Maybe you were an amazing public speaker when you were a little girl. Maybe you were full of life and full of charisma, and maybe you were full of like attention, and you've been told, hey, stop being so attention seeking. That's not nice, or that's not ladylike, or, you know, kids are supposed to be seen but not heard. I mean, it depends on what you've been hearing in your different upbringings, but reflect on that just a little bit. And then you need to learn how to reframe it. Okay. If I feel resistance, that's not failure. That's my healing work calling me forward. Okay. When you realize there is something going on, you've got to be called into healing. Okay. And it's inner child wounds that need to be healed so you can actually lead. Now, the next part here is the phase number 2. That is connection. Okay. We need to connect with who we are really, because we forgot. See, we forgot. We were taught how to be a certain way, but we have forgot who we really are. So we need to connect again with our true self. We need to have a vision. We have to develop a vision. What do we even want? See, and again, if you've been brought up with narcissism, for example, chances are you didn't matter so much, right? Why do we all get into entrepreneurship? Because we have this urge, this drive. We want to matter. We want to matter to somebody. We want to have a legacy. We want to be significant. That's a human desire that is pulling us into entrepreneurship. We want to be significant. We want to be seen. We want to matter in someone's life, right? I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure you are probably feeling the same way. We want to create an impact on people. Now, how would we do that? What is the vision? What's your goal here? Yes, if you're in network marketing, you're going to borrow the company's vision in the beginning, but that's not enough because you need to do your own. See, you can only plaster your product so long and say, yeah, the company is amazing and this, but this is like beaten down. Nobody wants to listen to this anymore. People want to buy from people. Okay. They want to buy from you, not from your company that you're buying from. So what do you stand for? And can you see how this is going to start creating a problem? Like, who do you stand for? Right? Because people that you don't know want to buy from you because they like you and they want to do what you do. But if you are not willing to speak your full truth and you are not willing to stand in your own shoes because you still have this wound pulling you down that says, hey, don't be so big. Don't say these things. Who do you think you are? Why are you opening your mouth? Like all these different thoughts that maybe are ruminating inside of yourself. Okay, that need to be healed because people were wrong. The people were wrong telling you don't. The people were wrong. Okay, let me just tell you right now, the people were wrong. You were meant to be every single thing that you feel inside of you. You were meant to be more. And if nobody tells you that, let me tell you this right now, you're meant to be more. You are meant to be every single thing that you have in your heart. Okay, because it's been put there on purpose. It's been put there on purpose. That desire, that drive has been put there on purpose because you are here on this earth to do more. Let me tell you that. Don't you ever believe these people. That was their responsibility. It was their responsibility to heal them. They were not supposed to write on your blank slate. You were meant to be nurtured to become the person you are. Many parents miss that, right? Many parents are instilling their beliefs. Yes, I instill beliefs into my children also. I instill them, but I also equip them with a mind that makes them question, that makes them ask, who am I? Do I like this? Do I not like this? My mom likes this. Do I like this? I ask them, don't just do blindly what I tell you. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Right? And many parents don't do that. So don't let them now steal the opportunity from you any longer. You are grown. It's your responsibility. Okay? So you are not lost. Remember that. You are not lost. You're buried beneath layers of people pleasing and proving and performing and trying to get recognition from people that really don't matter anymore. Okay? The most successful entrepreneurs are not the most talented ones. The most successful entrepreneurs are the ones that are most aligned with who they are. Now, what does success look like for you? Because see, it looks different for all of us. It's also different. What I think is successful, you probably hate. Or maybe not, because you're watching my content. So maybe you and I are very much aligned together, but maybe your partner doesn't like at all what you want to do. That's okay. Everybody can have a different opinion. What does success actually look like for you? Have you ever taken a minute to figure this out? See, and if you're anything like me, that now becomes very painful when you become aware to realize, I don't even know who I am. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I remember when I went through this work, I was supposed to write down 100 things about me. 100 things I was supposed to write down. Attributes. Why am I good? Why am I deserving to be this person that I want to be? And I sat bawling my eyes out in front of the sheet of paper because I couldn't say one thing. I couldn't say one thing. I didn't know. I didn't know. Why do I deserve this? See, this was a big clue for me. It was a big clue that I had been wronged and that I never wanted to take on the shame. I never wanted to talk about the shame. It was subconscious, but I had been wronged. I had been stolen from my self presentation skills. Okay. And me celebrating myself and my confidence, I had been stolen that part of me, right? Because the people that were around me, they didn't want to hear how good I was. They didn't want to see me strong. They didn't want to do any of those things. They wanted me to do what they wanted me to do. See, and when I did this work, this personal development work, and realizing that, shoot, I'm a blank, empty person, that hit hard, you guys. That hit so hard. And it took a while to grieve the fact that I've lost me. But then I also gave myself permission to get me back. Okay, I got me back, and I started going on the quest, and I started traveling, and I started looking at things, and I was like, do I like this? Do I not like this? I kept asking myself the question, do I like the mountains? Do I like the ocean? And in this process of finding myself again, I asked my children the same thing. What do you like? What do you like? Do you like traveling? Do you not like traveling? Do you like the mountains? Do you like the beach? Do you like this food? Do you like spicy? Do you like bland food? What do we even like? And I started realizing, like, oof, I can't make a vision because I like all the things. Like, I am a multifaceted person, right? I like the beach, and I like I like I like the beach, and I like the mountains. I like it all. Right? And then I was like, how do I narrow this down? Like, it was quite this journey. Long story short, quite the journey of trying to figure myself out, and it's still continuing to go on. And I keep asking myself these questions because I don't think you've ever finished. I think you are getting to know yourself as you go. So don't wait until you know yourself. Just go. Okay, just give yourself permission to just show up as you are right now. And I think the seasons are also changing. Sometimes you're in a season of a hot mess because you are a hot mess because you have little kids and you are trying to figure this out. Embrace that too. Don't give it as an excuse, but embrace that and work with it. Okay. So what does success actually look like for you? What do you value more than money, more than followers, for example? What do you value more than money? What is it? Because money will come eventually, but you've got to show up first, right? You've got to show up first. And so you got to find something that you value, that you can enjoy still while you are doing what you're doing. Reconnect with your why. Why are you doing this? And it needs to be a why that's not you. It's not money for you, okay? The real one, it's like, what's underneath all of that? Like, for me, it's I want to be significant. I want to be significant. I want to make an impact on people because I want people to remember me. I felt invisible as a child. I was somebody that was never seen and never heard. And every time I tried to say something, I was shushed. I was not supposed to be showing up. It wasn't supposed to be about me, and it left me feeling lonely and abandoned. Okay, that was my childhood wound. So what's behind all of me wanting more is I just want to be seen by somebody, right? I want to make an impact. And this is my drive. Like, if I can help me walking free rebuild my life, I can help you walk it free and build your life. Now you can do the same for your kid, because I believe that if I have this knowledge and this desire that I want to be seen and significant and mattering to somebody, even if it's just my children, I'm sure you want the same. You want something like that, right? You want to be seen. You want to matter to people. You don't want to be insignificant, no one cares about. So I think that's a pretty normal desire. And that is my why. That's why I show up here. That's why I keep doing this. That's why I grow myself, so I can be better for my family first. And then I grow myself so I can then teach others how to do the same. And then they can do it in their family. And that is the walk it free cycles, right? So what are your non-negotiables? What boundaries do you need to uphold so that you can honor your energy? See, I'm someone that depleted my energy I deplete it all the time to the point of burnout. You feel me on that, right? Many of you are having anxiety. Many of you are having depression. I don't think it's only depression. I think often it's burnout, because we deplete our energy. And we need to take that control back. We need to take that power back. We need to align that for ourselves. Our superpowers, okay, is what comes naturally to us. What is it? What lights you up? For me, it's actually speaking, believe it or not. It's actually speaking, being on stage, even talking to you on the camera, because I'm imagining all of you sitting there listening to what I'm saying. And that fuels me, because it gives me signs of I matter. What I have to say matters. Okay. And when I'm in front of an audience, I love being in front of an audience, because I feel like the energy from them, and it fuels me. So that's me. What is it for you? What lights you up? Is it the one-on-one work? Is it your product making other people feel better? Helping them be non-toxic? Helping them look better with makeup or their hair? What is it? What is it for you? You need to build emotional neutrality with criticism and rejection. And that comes when you are okay with who you are inside. If you are completely aligned with who you are and you like who you are, what Sally Joe or Karen over here says about you won't matter anymore. It just won't. And you don't even have, it's not a trick. It just won't matter, because you're going to grow so much in emotional intelligence that you are okay with who you are, and you're going to be okay with them to be who they are. Okay? Always think about this. Would the 8-year-old version of me feel proud of how I am showing up today? Ask yourself that. Try to get in touch with who you were as an 8-year-old. And if that is the same as who you were as an 8-year-old to who you are right now, and would that 8-year-old be proud of you, then you have succeeded. And that can be really challenging, especially if you have childhood trauma. Sometimes, like, you have to parent your inner child again. Sometimes, like, you have to release these old shame emotions. Sometimes you have to rework, not just get in connection with your vision, but sometimes you need to connect with how do I even do that? See, if you haven't been modeled how empathy worked in your upbringing, and you don't know how to do this with your own children, it can get really challenging. I myself reparent my inner child by me as an adult parenting my children. See, I get all these insights. I'm parenting my children, and then I start realizing, like, but I'm not talking as nice to myself as I talk to my kid. And then sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes I'm not so nice to my kid, and it scares me when I'm thinking, where is this come from out of the sudden? Where is this come from? See, but when you are okay to talk about it, see, shame can only grow in the closets. But I do believe that many of you are not talking about what's really going on for you because you are afraid to be judged by your other people. By the way, that's why my program is also still one-on-one, or if you're okay with that, in a group. But some people are not okay with that. Some people are not okay to talk about it in a big group because the shame is so high. That's why you need one-on-one time, so you can tell one person and then heal. Okay, heal. But so for me, sometimes I get tripped up and I realize, like, oh my gosh, how do I talk to my child? And I scare myself and I'm thinking to myself, that is not who I am. Oh, wait a minute. There's an old paradigm hack, something that may have been subconscious inside of me. That is what I then take, reflect upon, heal, apologize to my kid, and work with. See, these are systems that help you get past through and through and over and over. And it doesn't matter whether or not it's for your business or for your career or for your relationships or your parenting. It's all the same. You've got to become aware of it. Authenticity is gonna become your niche. See, we think sometimes we need to find this niche to do this and that and yada yada, but it really is who you are. And consistency will be the strategy. So authenticity is going to be your niche. Who are you at the core, and how loud can you pronounce it out? And doing it every single day, that is your consistency. That is going to be your strategy. Okay. And your energy is your currency. Okay. If that makes sense. So, that was phase number 2. All right. Phase number 3 now is to level up. So we have healing, we have connecting, and we have to level up. We need to shift from an internal clarity, now that we have understood what's going on, to an external action taking with aligned and disciplined and strategic moves. This is where it's going to be. Okay, that is the goal. So stop with all the motivation talk, right? We don't need any more motivation. We need a system that honors emotional rhythm, our own unique, because we are unique. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your identity is nothing like anybody else. Okay? We need to have our internal system that honors our emotional rhythm and that keeps us moving forward. So, how do we do that? We need to take small steps because we need to build confidence, right? Most of the time, we don't have enough confidence. So we need to take really small actions that we can actually do consistently, that we then can build the confidence that we can prove to ourselves, yeah, I am capable of doing it. Even though they all told me I wasn't, I am able to do it, right? That is where it's coming from. That's what's important. We need to then anchor into maybe morning rituals, or maybe we need to anchor into emotional resilience. We need to anchor into time blocking and respect our future self, right? What do we want? We have cleared. We know what actions we're going to have to take, the actions, and write it down. What will get us this result? It has to be planned out, and we need to time block so we actually do this to respect our future self. See, this is still energetically. This is still work that is energetically having to be done. When we then reflect on a weekly basis, how do we do this week? Did we do it? Did we not do it? That's when we can course correct without the shame. We realize, like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't do all, like I tell you, there are days when I track all my reach outs, for example, and then couple of days later, I open up my book and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Why did I not have anything in here? I was in my brain completely thinking I was doing it every single day. But then when you started writing it down, you started realizing, like, there's gaps. See, our brain is so smart. It blocks out shame and insufficiencies so big when there's unhealed wounds. When you cannot love yourself through taking imperfect actions, it will just block it out. So you won't even be aware. You will not even be aware, because that is how you protect yourself from pain. But you have to have consistent action, right? I mean, you cannot have achieve results if you have a few days of inaction there. You are not going to build a consistent business if you do not have your actions under control. That is really important. So you have to learn how to keep these systems, how to love yourself, and how to work yourself through this without creating more shame that then holds you back again. We need to come up with an emotional emergency plan, for example. What will I do when doubt shows up? How will I react? Who will I call when I want to quit? Who has earned our trust with our shame, with our insufficiencies? Who has earned our trust that we can say and call on, okay, and say, I suck. I feel like the loser. What am I doing? Okay, and someone who can mirror back to you who you really are. Because when you have your self-talk coming up that bad, it's not who you are. It's just the old identity is trying to stick around. And we need to say, thank you so much for keeping us safe for so long, but we release you now. Okay? We need to create proof files, screenshots, wins, compliments, breakthroughs, any of those kind of things. And I tell you, if you are anything like me, this is really hard for you. Like if you're looking back through my social media, you don't see me saying often, hey, look at that, I help this person, I help this person, I help. And the reason why it is because self-promotion is hard for me still. It's still hard for me. I'm still having a hard time shouting off the rooftop how many people I have actually helped. It's really hard for me because I feel like I'm boasting, and I feel like I'm not supposed to tell anybody that I helped anybody. I'm working at it, working in progress, and that's okay. All right, it's okay. We all have different things that we are working on that are unique to us. And we need to be able to talk about these things without judging ourselves. Like sometimes I contemplate, should I say that in my video? Should I not say that in my video? And then I'm thinking to myself, like, no, I need to be who I am. I need to be honest, because honesty is a core value of myself. Authenticity is what I preach. So I need to also say when I have faults. Okay, I cannot just stand here and not say I have faults. I have a lot of faults still. There's a lot of things that I'm still working through. And I think you're never going to be finished. I think every level has a new devil. So on every level of your journey, you are going to have something that uncovers, gets like picked up or whatever. So we need to create proof files and work lovingly with the wounds that are coming up. We then also need to rewire our definitions of success, because again, your identity over here is something you've probably identified from someone else. You took this on from someone else, when in fact, your definition of success may be something completely different. Something completely different. So find out what it is for you and rewire it. Remember, you do not rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. If you don't have a system that gets you going through, that keeps you and catches you when you fall, that supports you when you are trying new things, if you don't have a system, if you don't have the support, that's when you fail. Okay? And especially when you're attempting to become an entrepreneur and the person that an entrepreneur requires. Yes, we see some people that have it. Why do they have it? Why do they level up all the time, right? That's only a few people though, by the way. And those are probably the ones that have already an aligned identity. Maybe their parents have been entrepreneurs. Maybe their parents have been in personal growth. See, my kids have a completely different paradigm now than I did when I grew up, because I taught them already all the things that I know. I already teach them personal development. I already teach them how to think and how to build and how to time manage and how to identify if they like it or if they don't like it. So their paradigm is going to be completely different than the one I grew up with. So that's why some people have it a little bit easier than others for whatever endeavor they are in. Okay, so to finish this up here, in closing, I want to tell you, you have never been broken. You were never lazy. You were never unworthy. You were just unhealed, disconnected, and misaligned. And it's really important that you tell yourself that you deserve to be every single thing that you want to be. It's emotional, I know. It can be really, really hard. And don't quit on yourself, okay? Don't quit on yourself, because I see you. And you deserve to feel better, and you deserve to change the world, okay? So, which phase are you in? What do you think? Do you need to be focusing on healing? Do you need to focus on connection? Or do you think you need to level up? Or do you think you need the whole thing? Comment below. I would love to know which phase you are going to step into, or DM me, Walk It Free, if you're ready to take on this journey, because you are worth it, and the Walk It Free system will teach you how to tackle any of these stages uniquely to you.